What is up, guys? James Carter TV here to give my scouting report on Ben Simmons out of LSU, the next great player in the NBA. We think. Now, I already made my Brandon Ingram scouting report in which I said that I believe that Brandon Ingram will be a better player than Ben Simmons. I trust Brandon Ingram more than Ben Simmons. But with that said, this is a damn good prospect we're talking about, and it would not shock me if Ben Simmons is better than Brandon Ingram and he makes me look like a clown, an idiot, and just both, a clown and an idiot more than I already look at this point. So with that said, let's get into it. But again, I really like Ben Simmons as a prospect. Make no doubt about it. I think we're talking about a top 15 player in the NBA, but with Brandon Ingram, I think we're talking about a top 10. So let's talk about this player. So we're going to talk about his strengths, his weaknesses. I'll give you my 5-year projection, statistically how he'll be doing in 5 years. I'll give you my best fits, my pro comparison, and we will end with an overall grade for Ben Simmons. Let's talk about his strengths. Man, this guy can make some plays. His playmaking ability is off the charts. This, especially in transition, I think that's where he's gonna live. Wherever he goes, whether it be the Sixers or the Lakers, you have to take advantage of his ability in transition. Whenever he gets an offense or defensive rebound, they are running. And when they are running, he does such a good job at not only finishing at the rim, but looking out for his teammates, passing in transition, putting balls in perfect positions for his teammates to finish the transition, finish the fast break. That's where he gets a lot of his points. In fact, I think it was 25% of his points came in transition. Ben Simmons got the rebound. Good, let's run. And by the way, that is why I'm one of the people that believe, and I don't think there's much of a debate. I don't know why we're having a debate. Ben Simmons is a power forward. That's who he is. That's who he's going to have to be for the majority of time in the NBA to have success. In fact, I went to Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, which is about 20 minutes down the road. And I went to see LSU versus Tennessee in the SEC tournament. And let me tell you, LSU used him as a center. That's what he played for them. And now people are expecting him to play small forward. No, he's going to be a power forward. That's what you want him to be. That's where he should be. Get defensive rebounds and let's run. So that's where I think he should be at the next level. So, and that's his biggest strength. I mean, passing, finishing, transition, playmaking ability, and being able to just see all of his teammates around him. Great passer, great point forward, a good feel for the game. So much to like here. Let's move on to his second strength, and that is rebounding ability. This guy averaged 11.8 or 11.9 rebounds per game. Either way, a hell of a lot of rebounds at LSU. I mean, this is a lot of rebounds, guys. I mean, you're talking about centers like Anthony Davis, like Karl Anthony Towns, that didn't even average this much. I mean, Anthony Davis was close, but I'm not sure who was actually above. But either way, elite rebounding ability. This guy knows where to put himself in position to get these rebounds. He's already has an NBA frame at 6'10", 240 pounds. I mean, this is what Al Horford looks like in terms of height and almost weight. Al Horford weighs a little bit more, but in terms of height, definitely, and the size isn't very far away. So with that, he's able to get so many rebounds. I mean, you're talking about a power forward. I mean, he averaged 12 points in college, 12 rebounds in college. He's probably going to average 9 or 10 in 5 years in the NBA, and that puts him in the top, probably in the top 7 or 8 in the NBA elite rebounding ability, and there's a lot of value to be had in that. Don't you dare for a second discount the value that you have in rebounding. A guy that gets you a lot of rebounds helps you win a lot of basketball games. We move on to his athleticism and his size, especially his athleticism for his size. Again, this is a 6'10" guy, and boy, he can move, boy, he can jump, boy, he can explode. I mean, this guy, in terms of acceleration, you think he's stopped on a dime, well, he's gonna, boom, start up again, start running past you, finish at the rim. I mean, great athleticism. And that's what really contributes to his great upside. I mean, just an absolute tremendous ability, leaping ability, jumping ability. That's why he gets so many rebounds, so quick and fast and agile for his height. It's spectacular. Again, has a great feel for the game. Yeah, look, he directs. I mean, I saw this guy when I scouted him. This guy just directing his teammates. You go here. No, go over there. What are you doing? Hey, you come here for a second. I mean, he's directing this entire LSU offense. And when you put him at point forward and he's over there and he's directing, he's going to do the same thing. Great feel for the game, knowledge of the game, where people should be, the advantageous positions. I mean, just everything is absolutely spectacular. Screens, everything, great. And with all of this comes enormous upside. We're talking top 5 NBA upside. Hell, even the best player in the NBA upside. I mean, it exists. It is there. It is tangible. We see it. This guy got 45 or 44 points in a college game. Go turn on that film because he was fantastic. He hit shots so you're like, how did he hit this? The upside is there. I mean, it is clear as day. You can't deny it. He's enigmatic. It's great. So now let's talk about his weaknesses. He can't shoot, period. He can't do it. You should have seen this guy in warm-ups. I couldn't believe it. He can't shoot, guys. It's bad. I think he made 1 out of probably 8 shots I see him took in warm-ups. He has a low trajectory on his shots. He doesn't want to shoot. I think he made probably 30% of his mid-range jumpers this collegiate season. That's bad. He can't shoot right now. Free throws aren't horrible. They're about 67%. And because I project him at power forward, that's fine. Little below average, but fine. We can deal with that. But man, he can't shoot, and I'm not sure he ever will. That's why I'm saying put him at power forward and let him go to work, because if you look at his post game, he actually does have some post moves. I mean, this guy in warm-ups, he was living in the paint a lot. I mean, this guy was sitting there hitting his little jump hooks, hitting his little sky hooks, doing some turnaround stuff, all in the paint, all within 10 feet. And I was impressed. I said, hey, he can live here. So that's why I think he is. That's why I keep going back. I think he's a power forward. I think he's a power forward. I think he's a power forward, because he's not going to be able to shoot. I mean, yeah, you can believe that he can fix that, and I'm sure he will to some extent, but he's never going to be a great shooter. We're not talking about LeBron James, who was a bad shooter, but had a lot of potential, and you could see him making threes. You could see him attempting threes. Ben Simmons attempted 3 threes this year. And people think, I keep going back to this, that he can play small forward. He's just power forward. That's what he is. He's a power forward. This guy, again, 3 threes attempted. Come on, guys. He's a power forward. We move on. Half-court offense. He needs to improve here. So I talked about his great ability in transition in terms of passing and finishing and all that. When things get in the half-court and they slow down a little bit, I did see some post moves, and I think that's where he can live. But he needs to get better. He can be a little bit turnover prone in the half-court offense as well. Not very comfortable. He's going to need to be coached up here in terms of being in the right positions, in terms of, finding a role in an offense, in a half-court offense for him. When we said, what are we going to do? Are we going to throw it down to Ben Simmons in the paint, let him go to work? Find out, because they didn't figure it out at LSU. Whenever he was in the half-court offense, he really didn't do anything. Sometimes he'd be down there, and then they'd lob it up to him, and then he'd dunk it. Okay, cool. But that was pretty much it. So you need to figure out what are you going to do in terms of the half-court offense. And my biggest problem with Ben Simmons, effort. It wasn't there a lot of times, man. It wasn't there defensively. Doesn't like to do closeouts. That's why, again, I'd put him at power forward. But even at power forward, you're going to have to do closeouts. You're going to go up against Dirk Nowitzki. You're going to go up against Andrea Bargnani if he's still playing. Kevin Love. You're going to go up against these guys that can shoot outside shots, three-pointers. And he needs to close out better. And just because he doesn't have the effort to. He doesn't have long arms. I mean, this is a guy with a 6'10 wingspan. He's already 6'10. So the wingspan isn't very good. So you can't rely on your length because as compared to NBA power forwards, you don't have any. So you're going to have more effort on the closeouts, especially if a team puts you at small forward, which I hope they don't, because you're going to have to provide more effort on those closeouts. That's a big problem I saw from him. And also way more willing to reach whenever guys are trying to finish at the rim, trying to drive. He just reaches. He doesn't move his body in front of them. Doesn't jump up to challenge the shot and block it down. Just a guy that's content with reaching, swiping at the ball instead of actually using good defensive mechanics, good defensive footwork, staying in front of the guy he's defending. Oh, the point guard, my point guard misses assignment. The other point guard is driving to the rim. I might reach. Come on, they need you to make a play. You're playing center for LSU. You're going to have to be a rim protector for them. You probably won't have to do much of that at the NBA level, but I need to see that effort. I didn't see it. I think the LSU offense was broken. So offensively, again, when he was in the half court, he kind of just sit in the paint and did just say whatever. Oh, they lob it up to me. Okay, I'll do something now, but not much. I'm just going through the motion. Okay, I got a rebound. Okay, let's go. So there was some inconsistency there. But I hope he can be fixed. He's a nice kid. You listen to the interviews, he's an Aussie. He sounds nice, he sounds great, but I also saw, and this is my last weakness, some late game struggles. This is a guy that couldn't finish late in games well at all. He was very passive, like LeBron James was earlier in his career. A guy that would rather pass the ball late in games. A guy that turned the ball over late in games. Didn't make shots late in games. And this is a big problem. Because you're talking about this guy being the best player on your basketball team. Hopefully, or actually hopefully not. Because if you have someone better, then that's even better. Because now you have two really good players. But, the Sixers and the Lakers, he's going to be your best player, right? So you're talking about a guy that, can you rely on him late in games? Didn't see it. And you can believe that you're going to see it. I didn't see it. There was one game against Marquette. He did have a nice game winner, but that was it. And I didn't see a good job in terms of finishing late in games. In terms of when they were down, LSU was down and saying, bringing his team together and saying, guys, we're going to come back. We're going to do this. Little passive. That doesn't, I think he wants to win. I'm sure he does. But just doesn't offer that extra push like a Dwight Howard. And Dwight Howard, there's so much potential there, but was never able to really work hard enough to reach that NBA championship because he didn't want to put in that extra 110%. I mean, he'll give you 90, he'll give you 95, even maybe 100, but he won't go above and beyond to be that great player, to finish games for your basketball team, that heart and foundation of your basketball team in terms of winning an NBA championship, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a great player here, but will he bring us to that top, especially for the Sixers that we've been trying to get to? I'm not sure. I think he can take it to the playoffs. Now let's talk about my 5-year projection for Ben Simmons. First of all, you look at this. You look at the points per game. I think he can average over 20. I have him scheduled for 21. It wouldn't surprise me if it was 17, if it was 19, if it was 23, if it was 26. It wouldn't surprise me. I went with 21. It depends on how much the Sixers lean on him. If they lean on him a lot, I can see definitely more than this, but I think this is what I feel comfortable with when we're talking about maybe 22. In fact, I'm changing. Let's say 22 points per game for Ben Simmons, which I think is really good. It probably put him, no, I'm sticking with what I said, 21, because 22 puts you pretty much in an elite category in the NBA. So I'm going to say 21, which is really good. There's a lot of players that will never average 21. Tim Duncan's career average was 19. So 5 years from now, Ben Simmons averaging 21 would be pretty good. Rebounds, 9 or 10. That's pretty much it. Maybe 8, 9, or 10. I went generous. I said 10. If you put him at power forward, it'll be 10. Put him at small forward, it will be 8. And if you put him at both, it will be 9. We have assists, I say 5, maybe 6. Depends on how much they put in terms of doing the offense, in terms of, being the guy that running the offense. That's going to depend on this number. 5 is probably on the low end, maybe more like 6 or 7. I just went with 5 because I'm not really sure where he'll end up right now. I think the Lakers is still a possibility, and if he does go on the Lakers, D'Angelo Russell will take a lot of assists away from him. And field goal percentage, he got over, I think it was 56% in college. It won't be the case of the NBA. He's going to have to be more of a volume shooter, and he'll have more struggles. I say 51%, which is still really good. Especially if you're talking about a guy that's playing power forward or a small forward, really good. So I really like that. Three-point percentage, I included it only because I figured I should have, but 30%, it's going to be bad. And in fact, I think this may be even a little high. I mean, he's not a three-point shooter, guys. I'm not sure he's ever going to be. You're really hoping that he's going to be. I'm not sure he's going to put in the work. I think he'll be fine. I mean, this is a player that I think, look at these stats, right? I mean, I had Brandon Ingram, 24 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. You may say that these stats beat those, and that's fine. But I think Brandon Ingram gives you a little bit more. He gives you that superstar, that NBA champion level intelligence and hard work and dedication. I don't think Ben Simmons gives you that NBA championship level dedication, dedication, hard work, and all of that. But he's a damn good prospect, and if he figures it out, if he works hard, he can blow me out of the water. I still think he's a top 15 player in the NBA 5 years from now, definitely. I question if he's going to be top 10. Could be, probably number 10, 8, 9, something like that. Yeah, definitely, I could see that. I mean, if he has these stats, then definitely he'll be. Top 5, possibly. We'll see. I like Brandon Ingram to be that winner more than I like Ben Simmons to be that winner. But he could put me wrong. So overall, final grade, I give him a 92. 1 point below Ben Simmons. 1 point, below Brandon Ingram. This is the same grade I gave to Karl-Anthony Towns last year, who was my highest rated prospect last year. So now, in hindsight, though, Karl-Anthony Towns deserved probably a 94, maybe even a 95. Once you reach 95, we're talking about a future Hall of Famer. Cat could be that. I wouldn't say that yet because, future Hall of Famer, that's saying a lot. But, he probably deserved about a 93, 94, so maybe like a point or two higher. But I think, in terms of prospects, I think they're the same prospect. Ben Simmons just doesn't offer much defensively. He still needs to improve his shooting. I'm not sure he's ever going to be a good shooter, and that's fine with me. I mean, I don't think he has to be, as long as you put him at power forward and he can learn more of the post offense. And effort, can he provide the effort, man? That's what's going to determine it. I'm telling you. I compare him to LeBron James and Draymond Green. Pretty much smack dab in the middle between these two, because LeBron James, best player, or probably to me the second best player in the NBA right now. Draymond Green probably about the 15th. So you put him right in the middle. I think this is what we're talking about. Not a guy that's going to get you, LeBron James could average 30 if he wants. But LeBron James, let's say 27. Draymond Green, 21. Ben Simmons, in the middle there. And in terms of Draymond Green, if he was on his own team, he wouldn't be that great. So we also have to keep that in mind. I mean, he'd be pretty good, but he wouldn't be that great either. So, again, I like Ben Simmons a lot. I think the Sixers, if they take him, are getting a really good player. Will he bring champions to Philly? I don't think so. You're going to need... He's not an alpha male, and you're going to need an alpha male to bring you to a championship. And neither is Jahlil Okafor, by the way. They're both a little passive in that aspect. So you're going to need an alpha male. Bring in Chris Paul or someone to lead these guys, because, man, at the end of the day, I'm not sure how much of a leader Ben Simmons will be in terms of being that guy that brings you a championship. I'm sure he's going to be very good. I'm sure he's going to be even great. Maybe great might be a little harsh or a little strong, but really, really good. But will he be great? Will he bring you that NBA championship? Is it guaranteed or even likely? I don't think so. Until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.